I met you on somebody's island. You thought you had known me before. I brought you a crate of papaya. They waited all night by your door. You probably wouldn't remember. I probably couldn't forget. Jungle love in the surf and the pouring rain. Everything's better when wet. Jungle love. It's driving me mad. It's making me crazy. Jungle love. It's driving me mad. It's making me crazy. Oh yeah, and can you beat Fallout 4 Steve Miller? Whatever. First, let me start by answering the question on everyone under 40's mind. Who the is that? Steve Miller is the founder, frontman, and lead songwriter of the Steve Miller Band. They are known for such classics as Fly Like an Eagle, Take the Money and Run, and most relevant to today, The Joker. In that song, he variously describes himself as the Space Cowboy, the Gangster of Love, Maurice, because he speaks of the pompousness of love, a picker, a grinner, a lover, a sinner, a joker, a smoker, and a midnight toker. I will be interpreting these into a list of actions and personality traits that I must follow. Space Cowboy means I must only use revolvers and wear cowboy outfits. Gangster of Love and Lover means I must romance a companion. Grinner and Joker means I must pick the sarcastic option whenever it is presented. Smoker and Midnight Toker means I must get blasted out of my mind on Jet at least once. I know you don't smoke Jet, but it's the closest thing in the game to it, so I'm making the most out of it. Additionally, in the song he claims I sure don't want to hurt no one, which means if there's a peaceful solution to a problem, I must take it. Alright, with that out of the way, let's begin. We start in the bathroom because I recently reformatted my computer and forgot to back up my saves. I do my best to make a passable Steve Miller, and my best isn't good enough. I piss around until the Vault Tech rep shows up and start assigning my stats. I don't need any perks from Strength, so that goes to 1. Perception is 6 because I've learned my lesson about Refractor, 3 Endurance for Life Giver, 6 Intelligence for Science, 3 Agility for Sneak, 3 Luck for Bloody Mess, and the rest in Charisma to help with speech checks. After that, we all know the drill. Run to the vault, get put in a fridge, my wife gets murdered, I lock the routers behind some doors, and then attempt to fix my fugly mug. I think I make it worse, actually. I meet up with Codsworth, he does not call me Maurice, curses, and I let him clear out the bugs while I loot the place for all it's worth. After that I leave town, ignore Dogmeat, and start making my way to the Cambridge police station. According to the Independent Fallout Wiki, which as we all know has no incorrect information on it whatsoever, there's a heavy glow-side pipe revolver in ArcGex systems, and since I plan on joining the Brotherhood of Steel anyway, they seem like the most space cowboy faction, it seems like the most logical place to go at the moment. On the way there, I encounter Wolfgang and Simone, and briefly consider instigating a fight so I can loot his revolver, but then I remember the rules and instead negotiate a truce between him and Trudy. I eventually make it to the police station, get in the way of Paladin Dance killing the feral ghouls, and am sarcastic to him every chance I get. Instead of shoving his rifle up my ass and pulling the trigger for my worthless behavior, he instead requests assistance from the unarmed, unclothed jackass he met 30 seconds ago. I follow Dance to ArcJet and sort of just stand around like a dipshit while he guns down his cousins. I searched the place high and low, but for the life of me I could not find that damn revolver. Maybe the wiki is wrong, maybe I'm just an imperceptive idiot. Who can say? Down in the basement, you bet your fat ass that I just sit there and let the synths swarm dance for several minutes so I can collect their weapons like the capitalist of ultra I am. On the surface, after contributing nothing to the mission, Dance declares that he is satisfied with my performance and offers me a place in the Brotherhood. I waddle my ass to Diamond City, and along the way, meet a local crackhead who sells me a revolver. I then proceed to get my ass eaten by some bugs and arrive at Diamond City. I hear a rumor about a raider bar in the theater district, get Nick Valentine's location marked on my map, and make my way to the combat zone. Inside, I start blasting some raiders in the face, and after I'm finished painting the place with brains, I talk with Tommy Lanagan, who offers me Kate's contract. I accept, and now me and Bobby Sue are about to head down to El Paso and run into a great big hassle. And by El Paso, I mean back to Diamond City to get ourselves some drugs. We enter the Colonial Tap House and witness Paul Pembroke get his shit pushed in by Henry Cook. I follow him outside and offer to keep Cook's fists away from Paul's face. Back at the tap house, Paul attempts to shoot Cook for fucking his wife, but I de-escalate the situation and we all agree to bury the hatchet over some drugs and dead gangsters. We walk to the drug deal, I attempt to get the gangsters to hand over the drugs peacefully and get John Marston for my troubles. Reloading, this time I duck for cover when the shooting starts, and after my better armed compatriots absorb all the bullets, we interrogate Trish, I promise to let her go in exchange for the password of the drug lab, and I do. Cook, on the other hand, does not. Now all that's left is divvying up the loot. I agree to split it with Paul 50-50, but then realize that means I get no drugs. Instead of reloading and splitting it 70-30 like a sane person, I instead blow Paul and Cook's brains out and take everything for myself. Even when I'm being peaceful, I'm still a psychopath at heart. Alright, I have my weapon, I have my girl, and I have my drugs. Now all I need is my outfit. Unfortunately, the only cowboy outfits in the game are in Nuka World, so I make my way to the Nuka World Transit Center and proceed to spend 20 minutes getting annihilated by the gunners. The privates I can take out no problem, but the Assaultron? That thing rearranged my insides more times than I'd like to admit. I eventually took it down by shooting it while hidden, running away like a little bitch, and repeating ad nauseum. I end up doing basically the same thing with the commander. Inside the station proper, I meet an honest-looking gentleman who tells me his family has been taken by raiders. Being the helpful moron I am, I offer to help get them back and get taken for a ride to Nuka World. Arriving at the station, I bypass the gauntlet by doing the old pixel peep through the door trick and make a beeline to Dry Rock Gulch. Before you ask, no, I didn't get the Western Revolver, because if I stopped for even a second to talk with Sheriff Hawk, the bloodworms and cave crickets would rip my nuts off. I grab every outfit in plain view, only to realize that one I wanted isn't here, and I have to trek over to the World of Refreshment and get my nuts ripped off by Mirelurks in order to get the orange cowboy outfit. I wanted this one specifically because it gives double the armor than the ones found in Dry Rock Gulch. Before I can return to the Commonwealth, I have to endure the gauntlet. Like I've said before, this thing is easy if you know what you're doing. You just have to take it slow and pay close attention to everything. If Andrew WK isn't chastising you for being slower than a snail with Down syndrome, you're not doing it right. I quickly make it to Coulter, and even more quickly, get my ass beat. Surprise! The first boss of a DLC with a recommended level of 30 is difficult for a level 8 dipshit to contend with. Thankfully, I still have that stash of drugs that I brutally murdered two innocent men for, and thanks to a not insignificant amount of toking, I'm able to slow myself down so much that my sense of time undergoes an integer underflow and I'm able to use 100% of my brain. What the fuck am I on about? I don't know, but Coulter's dead. Now, I'm joining the Brotherhood this playthrough, but I need the Minutemen's help for something later, so I head down to the Museum of Freedom to help out Preston and his gaggle of hapless villagers. I send the raiders back to England where they belong, clear the streets of trash, and exploit the Deathclaw's AI to score a series of headshots. I then return to Sanctuary and do some menial settlement building so Preston friends can not die of starvation and not have to worry about getting killed by raiders. Fucking pussies, am I right? Preston wants me to go help some more hapless villagers, so I start heading over to 10 Pines Bluff, but along the way I see Satellite Station Olivia, so I pop my head in to pop the raiders' heads and collect the Abernathy's necklace. I also find a bandana and put it on to cover my utter failure of a Steve Miller caricature. The residents of 10 Pines Bluff send me to the Corvega assembly plant, so I commit another requisite mass murder, give the locket back to the Abernathys, report back to 10 Pines Bluff, and Preston finally promotes me to General of the Minutemen.
It's a meaningless title, but it helps insecure people feel better about themselves.
I feel better about myself!
As the newly appointed General of the Minutemen, I'm given a job by my subordinate to go kill some animals just minding their own business. So I go get my animal abuse in for the day, and then Preston sends me to another settlement that needs my help. I'm starting to think he doesn't like me. I don't know why. All I did was demean and insult him every chance I got. Anyway, I head to Oberlin Station, and they want me to clear out some super mutants with my rusty pea shooter. Thankfully, all you have to actually do is kill the leader, and by taking the back way in, I catch him by surprise, and despite his attempts to T-pose for dominance, I blow his brains out and run away like a sniveling coward. With this, I'm finally able to retake the castle and reveal the real reason I've been helping the Minutemen. You see, in the song Take the Money and Run, old Steve says he and his girlfriend shoot a man while robbing his castle, so now I'm stealing the Mirelurk Queen's eggs and shooting her in the face. Now, you might be thinking, but Mr. Monotone, the Mirelurk Queen is neither male, thus not a man in the gender sense, nor is it human, thus not a man in the humanity sense. To which I would respond, shut the fuck up. Now that I've leveled up some more, there's a side quest back at Nuka World I'd like to do. On the outskirts of the park lies a group of crazy-ass nutjobs stroke Fallout 2 references that need my help. They want me to get them some spacesuits from the Among the Stars exhibit in the Galactic Zone. So I make my way there and immediately get vaporized by some laser turrets and protectrons. I'm forced to do silly things like making tactical retreats and dividing up my enemies in order to purge the attraction of this mechanical menace. Once I return with the spacesuits, the cultists reveal that they plan on using the spaceship ride in the junkyard to travel to planet Xenu or whatever. I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention. All I know is that they're paying me to kill shit and I get to become a space cowboy. Clearing out the junkyard was fairly easy, because the hobologists help by acting as meat shields and are fairly well armed. The only part that I had any real trouble with was the sentry bot that blocked the final ascent, but since most of my compatriots are essential, it was simple as standing back and letting them wear it down. Finally, it came time to decide whether to insert 3 fusion cores into the ride to have it function properly, or 4 fusion cores to have it blow the fuck up. You'd think for a psychopath like me that choice would be easy, and it was. I put 3 cores in, because this way I get a bonus reward and don't waste a fusion core I don't have to. I'm bloodthirsty, not stupid. I've spent enough time fast traveling without a shirt on that Kate trusts me enough to help me with her drug problem. She is so smacked out of her gourd on Psycho that normal detox drugs don't work, and she needs something drastic. Apparently Vault-Tec cooked something up in a Vault 95, and we need to go get it. Unfortunately, this vault is currently inhabited by high-level gunners, and that means more Soltrons shoving their egg-beater fists up my ass. At least with the ones on the outside I can run away like a pussy and pick them off. Not so with the one in the vault, who pins me to a wall and French kisses me with her laser face. Thankfully, the enemies on the inside are too stupid to follow you out the elevator, so I've used this to reset their positions and take them out easily. We eventually find the detox machine, Kate straps herself in, and makes some noises that have definitely been used in a sex mod, probably several. Alright, I think it's all the side quests I want to do, so I guess it's time to rescue Nick Valentine. I bust down the door of Park Street Station and put a cap in the ass of every 2-bit gangster in the joint. Triggermen are basically just raiders with no armor and slightly better weapons, so they really never stood a chance. I quickly make it to Dino and splatter his brains all over Valentine's window. I'm sure that made quite the first impression. I spring Willie Mac from jail and we cut a path to the remaining Triggermen. Once we meet up with Skinny Malone, I'm faced with a choice between being sarcastic or trying to resolve the situation peacefully. I go with the latter option and convince Darla to leave Skinny, and then Nick and I run away before Skinny eats us. We then meet back up in Diamond City, I do his little interview, steal Rice Krispies' house key, ransack his pantry, and recruit Dogmeat to take me to him. And by that, of course, I mean I teleport straight to Fort Hagen and not get sidetracked by bullshit. For once, I actually put points to Refractor, so the synths inside don't pose much issue. And as for Kellogg?
Bitch.
I scoop out his brains, take his revolver, and step outside to witness the Brotherhood of Steel flying in on one of those Jefferson starships I've heard so much about. Fuck you, Tildesmu, I saw the joke first! I return to Nick, we discuss our next steps, and my bloodthirsty response about Kellogg makes Kate fall head over heels in love with me. I tell her I really love her peaches, and she replies that she wants to shake my tree.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Talking about sex, dumbass. In Good Neighbor, Hancock does to Finn what I'll do to you if you don't like and subscribe. I'm a sarcastic dighead to Nick, and I'm once again forced to endure the Dangerous Minds quest. You know, this quest is actually really neat the first time you do it, but being forced to do it every time you play the main story is lame. I give Virgil's location, get turbo cancer by walking through the glowing sea without a radiation suit, and meet up with everyone's 5th favorite super mutant. He points me toward a courser, and I commit a venerable gunner genocide as I slaughter my way up the tower. I also find a junkie's rolling pin on a legendary gunner, and I just sit there in awe of how shitty this drop is. It does, however, give me an idea. As one-sided as this matchup was, they still put up more of a fight than the courser. I execute the remaining prisoner, free the synth, and unfortunately we need to decode the chip, and that means dealing with the railroad. You know, I don't even hate the railroad, I nothing them. They're just so underwritten that I can't have a strong opinion either way about them. I can't hate their writing because they don't have any writing to hate. I return to Virgil, he gives me the interceptor plans, and I'm off to go hang out with some 40k nerds. I return to the police station after being told to return there a week ago, and Dance and I take a chopper ride to the totally safe and not all flammable Pridwin. Max gives a speech about how the enemy is scum beneath his boot and must be exterminated. No red flags there. I introduce myself to the crew, and Max insists me to clear out Fort Strong. You know, I'm here to kill the super mutants and take the nukes. Maybe I could have counted this as shooting a man while robbing his castle. But Mr. Monotone, super mutants are neither human nor— Shut the fuck up, Greg! I finish clearing off the greenskins, Dance appreciates my bloodlust, and I return to the Pridwin. Maxon tells me we need a way into the Institute. I tell him I'm one step ahead of him, and he sends me to everyone's favorite Invalid, who in turn tells me to do some Mantoy settlement building. Yay! I actually like settlement building, by the way, but something about being forced to do it just zaps all the fun out of it for me. After I'm done building a molecular relay out of paper clips and used condoms, Maxon gives me a floppy disk to copy the entire Institute database onto, and Ingram zats me in there. I immediately blast my sonfather in the face, but then remember I'm supposed to be peaceful and reload. I introduce myself to the division heads, grab Virgil's serum, turn Dr. Lee against the Institute, and give the serum to Virgil. Say, let's play a drinking game. Take a shot for every loading screen until I get to do something fun. Ready? I teleport to Ingram and give her the floppy disk. That's 1. I then have to go talk with Maxon, so I teleport to the Pridwin and go inside. That's 3. He tells me to report back to Ingram, so I step outside and teleport back down to the airport. That's 5. She tells me about Liberty Prime and says Dr. Lee won't help, so I teleport back to the Pridwin, go inside, and climb the ladder to the crew area. That's 8. I convince Dr. Lee to do her damn job, go through 2 loading screens to get outside, then teleport back down to the airport where Dr. Lee has somehow beaten me there. That's 11. She and Ingram tell me where to find the nukes, so I teleport to the glowing sea and enter Sentinel Site. That's 13. Oh, and that's with me thinking ahead and buying a high-powered magnet beforehand. Otherwise, that would have been 15. Hope you're doing beer shots, by the way, otherwise your liver's gonna stab you. Anyway, I clear out the ghouls, convince a crazy-ass nutjob to hand over his holy relics, and take Liberty Prime for a test drive. It's been discovered that Dance is a damn dirty toaster and must be exterminated. I report to Proctor Quinlan, who makes the oh-so-helpful suggestion of searching every place Dance has ever been. I then talk with Halen, who tells me his location after I promise to hear him out. Inside Dance's super-secret clubhouse, he says he's decided he's ready to die for what he is. I say, nuh-uh, and that gives him the will to keep on living. Unfortunately, somehow, Maxon caught wind of me not dunking the toaster in the bathtub and demands blood. I once again pull the nuh-uh card, and Maxon decides to drop it. Back on the Pridwin, as a reward for my disloyalty, I'm given the mission to wipe out the railroad. Alright, cue the death metal. Also, as I exited the newly minted crypt, the game blue screened my PC for the first time ever. No creation engine game has ever done that for me before. Now that we've purged the world of boring beige bitches, now we need to secure Liberty Prime a power source, which means it's off to mass fusion. You know the drill by now. Let the synths shoot down the vertibird, commit some PG-13 carnage, make a suicide joke, grow a third dick in the reactor chamber, and power up bootleg Gort. I then skip the walk to the CIT ruins, stand around and let my fellow soldiers do all the work, put down Harambe, and convince Father to let me shut down most of the synths. We then fought our way to the reactor, strap a bomb to it, I take my fake son with me, and prove yes, you can beat Fallout 4 as Steve Miller. This is the dumbest video I've ever done, that is all I have to say. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, my name is Mr. Monto96, and I'll see y'all later.